Lucy Morgan stared at the glowing object on her kitchen table. It had fallen from the sky last night, landing with a soft thud in her backyard garden. The size of a baseball, the sphere pulsed with a gentle blue light that brightened and dimmed like a heartbeat. Lucy lived alone in her countryside home, miles from the nearest neighbor. She had moved here after 15 years as a NASA engineer, seeking quiet after the tragedy that had claimed her research team during a failed experiment. Now, at 42, she wanted nothing to do with strange objects from the sky. Yet curiosity won over caution. Lucy reached out and touched the surface of the sphere. It felt warm and seemed to vibrate beneath her fingertips. The blue glow intensified, spreading up her arm and enveloping her body. She tried to pull away but found herself frozen as knowledge poured into her mind. Star maps, coordinates, mathematical formulas, and images of beings, unlike anything she had ever seen. They had tall, slender bodies, covered in scales that shifted colors like oil on water. Their faces featured large eyes with vertical pupils and small mouths. Lucy gasped as the light retreated back into the sphere. She stumbled backward, her heart racing. The beings had sent a message. They were coming to Earth not to invade but to escape. They called themselves the Nari, and their world was dying. She needed to tell someone, but who? The government would seize the sphere and lock her away. Lucy had seen enough classified projects to know how this would end. Her former colleague Grace might help, but they hadn't spoken in years. The sphere began to pulse more rapidly. Lucy knew somehow that this meant time was short. She grabbed her phone and dialed. "Grace, I need your help," Lucy said when her old friend answered. Something impossible has happened. 3 days later, Lucy and Grace stood in the empty field behind Lucy's house. The night sky stretched above them, clear and full of stars. Grace had brought equipment sensitive, telescopes and communication devices she had borrowed from the university where she now taught. "Lucy, I hope you're right about this," Grace said, adjusting her equipment. "Because if you're wrong, we might both end up in psychiatric evaluation." Lucy touched the sphere, now sitting on a small table between them. "I'm not wrong. The Nari are real. They shared their knowledge with me. Their ship will arrive tonight," as if responding to her words. The sphere began to pulse rapidly, its blue light growing brighter. Grace looked up from her equipment, her expression changing from doubt to wonder. Above them, the stars seemed to shift. A circle of darkness appeared, growing larger, until it wasn't darkness at all, but a ship descending slowly and silently toward them. It was massive, yet made no sound as it approached. Lucy felt no fear, only a sense of rightness. This was meant to happen. The ship hovered 100 feet above them. Its surface rippled with colors like the scales she had seen in her vision. A beam of light shot down, engulfing both women. Lucy felt herself rising, Grace beside her, clinging to her arm. The equipment remained below, becoming smaller as they ascended toward the opening at the bottom of the ship. Inside, the chamber was vast and curved, its walls seemingly alive with flowing patterns of light. 3 figures stood waiting. Their appearance matched exactly what Lucy had seen in her vision. Tall, elegant beings with scaled skin that shifted in hues of purple, green, and blue. "Welcome, humans," said the tallest one. Her voice sounded like music in Lucy's mind, not spoken but thought. "I am Zira, leader of the Nari expedition. We have traveled far, seeking beings who might understand our plight." Grace stood frozen, but Lucy stepped forward. "We received your message. The sphere showed me your world. Your people." Zira moved closer, studying Lucy with large, iridescent eyes. "Yes. The knowledge sphere was sent to find someone with the capacity to understand, one who has touched the stars in some way. It chose you, Lucy Morgan." "How do you know my name?" Lucy asked. The second Nari stepped forward. Her scales shimmered with deeper blues. "I am Ilara, scientist and historian. The sphere reads the mind of those who touch it. It learns your language, your memories, your knowledge. It told us of your work with the stars and of your loss." Lucy felt a chill remembering her team, the accident, the years of guilt. But why come to Earth? The third Nari approached, smaller than the others, with scales that glowed almost white. I am Vela, the navigator. Our world faces destruction. A cascade failure in our star's gravitational field. Our science cannot stop it. We seek a new home and allies. We have identified a suitable planet in a nearby system. Zira continued. But the journey is dangerous. The void between stars harbors predators, beings that hunt ships and their occupants. We need human innovation. Your species thinks differently, solves problems in ways we cannot. Grace finally found her voice. You want our help, but what do we get in return? Alara turned her gaze to Grace. We offer knowledge. Technologies beyond your current understanding. Ways to heal your planet and extend human life. But more importantly, partnership. The universe is vast and filled with wonders and terrors. No species should face it alone. A screen appeared in the air between them, showing images of Earth, cities, oceans, forests, then shifting to scenes of devastation. Storms, floods, fires. These futures approach for your world, Vela said, but they can be changed with knowledge we possess. Lucy looked at Grace, then back to the Nari. I believe you. But two humans cannot speak for our entire planet. Zira made a gesture, and the floor beneath them became transparent, showing Lucy's house and the field around it. We understand you will be our ambassadors. Speak to your leaders. Bring those who will listen. We will remain here, cloaked from detection, for 7 rotations of your planet. Ilara approached Lucy, holding out a small device like a crystal pendant. Place this against your skin to commune with us, to share what you learn of your people's decision. The light enveloped them again, and moments later, Lucy and Grace stood back in the field, the ship no longer visible, though Lucy sensed it was still there. Grace looked at Lucy, her face pale in the moonlight. This is going to change everything. Lucy clutched the crystal pendant, feeling it warm against her palm. We have 7 days to convince humanity that the stars are not empty, and that our future depends on helping those who dwell among them. Above them, the night sky seemed to watch, waiting for humanity to make its choice. Day 3. Since first contact, and Lucy paced nervously in the conference room of the National Science Foundation building, Grace sat at the table, reviewing their presentation one final time. Outside, armed guards stood at attention, a reminder that this was no ordinary meeting. We have 4 minutes before they arrive. Grace said, her voice tense. Do you think Director Kelly will believe us? Lucy touched the crystal pendant hidden beneath her blouse. It had grown warmer throughout the morning, as if sensing the importance of this moment, she has to. The Nari gave us enough evidence to convince any scientist. Those star charts alone prove their existence. The door opened, and 5 people entered. Director Kelly, a stern woman with silver hair, led the group, followed by 2 military officers and 2 scientists Lucy recognized from NASA. Her former colleagues looked at her with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Director Kelly spoke first. Dr. Morgan, Dr. Chen. This meeting has been classified at the highest level. Your message claimed contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. I hope for your sakes. This is not an elaborate hoax. Lucy activated the holographic projector the Nari had given them. A 3-dimensional star map filled the room, showing systems and planets far beyond current human knowledge. We made contact 4 days ago. Their ship remains in orbit above my property, cloaked from detection. They call themselves the Nari. One of the military officers, a general with a chest full of metal, scoffed. You expect us to believe aliens landed in your backyard? Grace stepped forward. Respectfully, General, we have proof. She gestured to the star map. This shows stellar configurations impossible to fake. And this, she placed. A small container on the table contains an alloy with elements not found on the periodic table. The NASA scientists leaned forward, interest overcoming their doubt. One of them, Dr. Rivera, reached for the container. This material, how was it made? Lucy explained what the Nari had shared about their technology, their world, and their request for help. The room grew silent as she described the void, predators, the dangers that lurked between stars. Director Kelly removed her glasses. They want human help. Why? What makes us special? Compared to their advanced civilization, Lucy had asked Zira the same question: humans solve problems differently than the Nari. Your minds are adaptive, chaotic, creative, where ours follow logical patterns. Your species looks at obstacles and sees possibilities we cannot imagine. The second military officer, a woman with sharp eyes, spoke for the first time. What guarantees do we have that these aliens won't turn on us once we help them reach this new planet? None, Lucy admitted. But they have shared technology freely as a gesture of good faith. They could have invaded if that was their intention. Instead, they ask for partnership. The room erupted in debate. Lucy watched as the officials argued among themselves. Director, Kelly finally raised her hand, silencing the group. I need to see this ship. Speak to these beings myself. Before I take this to the president, Lucy touched her pendant, feeling it grow hot. Zira, I need you to reveal yourselves to these people. They need. Proof. A voice filled the room, musical and strange. The officials jumped to their feet as Zira appeared before them, her form translucent like a hologram, but perfectly detailed. Her scales shimmered with colors as she bowed slightly. Greetings, leaders. Of Earth, I am Zira, commander of the Nari expedition. We come seeking alliance, not conquest. The general reached for his weapon, but Director Kelly stopped him, her eyes wide with wonder. They are real, she whispered. Zira continued. We have watched your world for many cycles. Your species shows great promise despite your violent tendencies. We offer friendship, knowledge, and warning. The void is not empty, and not all who travel between stars come with peaceful intent. Dr. Rivera stepped toward the hologram. How many of you are there? Our ship carries 2,000, Nari Zira replied. The last of our kind. Our world is lost, but our civilization need not die. We seek a new beginning and offer alliance against dangers your species has yet to encounter. Director, Kelly found her voice. What dangers exactly? Zira waved her hand and images appeared beside her. Massive dark ships tearing apart smaller vessels, planets cracked open, their cores exposed. Creatures of shadow moving through space without ships, the Void Hunters. They consume all in their path. They have destroyed 12 civilizations within our knowledge. Your solar system lies in their projected path. The room fell silent. Lucy watched their faces, seeing fear, but also determination. Director, Kelly turned to her associates. We need to inform the president immediately. Lucy felt relief flood through her. They believed, but she also felt dread. The easy part was done. Now humanity needed to decide if it would reach for the stars or turn away. In fear, Grace squeezed her hand. We did it, she whispered. Lucy nodded. But this is just the beginning. 3 hours later, they sat in the Oval Office. Lucy never imagined she would stand before the president explaining alien contact. Yet here she was. The president listened intently as Director Kelly presented their findings. The president, a woman known for her practical approach to problems, leaned forward in her chair. Let me understand correctly. These Nari want our help to reach a new homeworld, and in return they offer technology and alliance against these void predators. Yes, Madam President, Lucy confirmed. They believe human creativity combined with their technology creates the best chance of success for both our species. And if we refuse, the president asked. Zira's hologram appeared again, making the Secret Service agents tense. We would seek another path. Your species would face the Void Hunters alone when they eventually reach your system. We estimate 50 of your years before they detect your technology signatures. The president studied the alien for a long moment. Very well, I will need to consult with world leaders. This decision affects all humanity, not just our nation. How long until you need our answer? 5 of your days remain, Zira replied. Then our ship must move or risk detection. The president nodded to her chief of staff. Make the calls. We need an emergency summit. Lucy felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. 2 species, 2 civilizations now, connected, their fates intertwined. Whatever happened next would change humanity forever. Grace took her hand again as the officials began making plans. We did all we could, it's up to them now. Lucy watched as Zira's hologram faded. Looking at the faces of Earth's most powerful leaders, she wondered if humanity was ready for this step into a larger universe. The stars waited their ancient light, hiding both wonders and terrors, and now humanity had to choose which path to take among them. The United Nations Assembly Hall had never been so crowded. World leaders, security personnel, and scientific advisors filled every available space. Lucy and Grace stood near the podium, alongside Director Kelly and the President, the Nari delegation. Zira, Ilara, and Vela waited in holographic form, their scaled bodies shimmering with nervous energy. 2 days of intense debate had led to this moment. Lucy had watched as nation after nation questioned, threatened, and eventually began to accept the reality of first contact. Some saw opportunity, others danger. A few had demanded military action against the alien vessel before quickly learning that Earth weapons could not penetrate their shields. Now the Secretary General approached the podium. The world has faced many challenges throughout our history. She began, her voice solemn, but none so profound as this decision. We stand at a crossroads, not just for our planet, but for our species. The vast room fell silent. The Secretary General continued. For the first time, we know with certainty that we are not alone in the universe. The Nari have shared knowledge, freely offered technology beyond our current capabilities, and asked for our help in return. After consultation with all member nations, we have reached a decision. Lucy held her breath. Her pendant burned against her skin as if the Nari themselves waited with the same anxiety. Earth will accept the Nari proposal. The Secretary General announced. We will form a joint mission to help them reach their new homeworld and establish a permanent alliance between our species. Relief washed over Lucy. She looked to Grace, who squeezed her hand tightly. Across the hall, reactions varied from applause to tense silence. Some delegates appeared, troubled, others excited. Zira stepped forward, her holographic form growing more solid. Thank you for your trust, she said, her musical voice filling the hall. The knowledge we share will transform your world. Your assistance will save ours. Together, we face challenges neither could overcome alone. The Secretary General raised her hand. But we have conditions. The technology shared must be available to all nations equally. Any military applications must be approved by the Security Council, and we require a permanent human delegation aboard your vessel. Lucy watched as the Nari conferred among themselves, speaking in rapid musical tones. Finally, Zira turned back to the assembly. We accept your conditions. Our survival depends on cooperation, not dominance. We will begin technology transfer immediately. Director Kelly stepped to the podium. The President has appointed me to lead the human delegation. She announced, we will select scientists, engineers, and diplomats from all member nations. For this historic mission, Lucy felt a tap on her shoulder. Director Kelly leaned close. Dr. Morgan, Dr. Chen, the President has specifically requested that you both join the delegation. As the first humans to make contact, you are uniquely qualified. Grace paled. I never expected to leave Earth. Lucy thought of her quiet home, her garden, the life she had built after losing her team. Now she faced the stars again, this time with a purpose greater than exploration. This is why the sphere chose us, she said, quietly. We were meant to bridge these worlds. The assembly dissolved into planning sessions. Lucy watched as world leaders who had threatened war days before now collaborated on humanity, first steps into a wider universe. Ilara, the Nari scientist, approached her hologram, flickering slightly. Your species adapts quickly, Ilara observed. Some still fear us, yet they move forward regardless. It is this quality that may save us all. Lucy nodded. Humans are contradictory. We fear the unknown, yet crave it. We fight among ourselves, yet unite against external threats. The Void Hunters may find us more difficult than they expect. Ilara made a gesture that Lucy had come to recognize as amusement. The knowledge sphere chose wisely when it found you, Lucy. Morgan. 3 days later, Lucy stood in the field behind her house for the last time. She had packed only essential belongings, leaving her home to her sister. The Nari ship would depart at midnight with 50 humans aboard, scientists and diplomats, chosen from nations across the globe. Grace approached carrying her own small bag. "The recruitment team is ready," she said. "Everyone has passed security clearance. The president is making her address now, announcing the mission to the world." Lucy looked up at the stars. Soon they would be among them, facing whatever waited in the darkness between worlds. "Are you afraid?" she asked. Grace smiled slightly, terrified but also excited. "We dreamed of this when we were at NASA. Now we go further than any human has gone before." Humming filled the air as the Nari ship decloaked above them, its massive form blocking the stars. Its surface rippled with colors like living metal. A beam of light shot down, and the first group of humans rose toward the opening. Lucy touched her pendant, feeling its warmth. This is really happening. Zira appeared beside them in physical form, not a hologram. Her scales glittered in the moonlight. "Welcome to the next chapter of both our histories," she said. "The journey begins tonight. The Void Hunters must not detect our departure, so we will travel through what your scientists call folded space. The journey may be difficult for your bodies. Our medical team is prepared." Lucy looked back at her home one last time, then stepped into the light beam with Grace beside her. They rose slowly toward the ship, feeling Earth gravity fade as they ascended. Inside the ship was vast beyond imagination. Curved corridors stretched in all directions, with Nari crew members moving purposefully. About several approached, bowing slightly in greeting, their scales shifting through colors of blue and green. Vela, the navigator, guided them to their quarters. "These chambers have been adapted for human comfort," she explained. "Your delegation will occupy this section of the ship. The common areas are where our species will work together." Lucy entered her assigned room, finding it surprisingly comfortable with Earth furnishings alongside strange Nari technology. A window showed the view outside, Earth glowing blue and green against the blackness of space. Vela continued, "Tomorrow we begin the knowledge exchange. Your scientists will learn our propulsion systems. Our engineers will study your adaptive thinking. We have much to teach each other." Soft chimes sounded throughout the ship. Vela straightened. "All crew to stations. We depart shortly." Lucy felt a tremor of fear and excitement. "What happens now?" "We leave your solar system," Vela replied. "Then we fold space to reach our destination. The Void Hunters patrol the normal routes between stars, but with human creativity and Nari technology, we may find paths they cannot follow." Grace joined them, her eyes wide with wonder. "How can we help?" Vela gestured to a console. "That terminal connects to ships. Navigation. We need humans to review our planned route. Your minds see patterns differently. You might identify safer passages." Lucy took a deep breath and moved toward the console. This was why they had been chosen. This strange partnership between species might save both. The ship hummed with increasing power. Lucy felt a slight pressure as it began to move. She watched through her window as Earth grew smaller, her home fading to a blue speck and then vanishing as the ship accelerated across the stars. Their journey began. Two species united against the darkness that hunted between worlds. Humanity had taken its first real step into the universe, and there was no turning back. 3 weeks into their journey, Lucy stood at the observation deck watching stars streak past in ribbons of light. The Nari ship traveled through normal space, gathering data before their first fold jump. Most of the human delegation had adapted to life aboard the alien vessel, though some still struggled with the different gravity and recycled atmosphere. Lucy had thrown herself into work, learning Nari technology and teaching human problem-solving methods. The two species complemented each other in unexpected ways. Where Nari thought in perfect logical patterns, humans made intuitive leaps that surprised their alien hosts. Grace entered the observation deck, her steps lighter in the reduced gravity. "The engineering team made a breakthrough," she announced. "We combined Nari power systems with human circuit designs. The ship can now generate 30% more energy for the jump." Lucy smiled. The cooperation was working better than anyone had expected. "How are the others adapting?" Grace shrugged. "Some better than others. Dr. Walsh still gets sick every time the artificial gravity fluctuates. But Director Kelly has the diplomats working well with the Nari Council. They are drafting a formal alliance treaty. A soft chime sounded throughout. The ship followed by Zira's voice. All crew to stations fold jump in 30 minutes. Human delegates please report to Medical Bay for preparation. Lucy felt a flutter of anxiety in her stomach. The fold jump worried her. Despite Nari assurances, the process sounded dangerous, bending space to create a shortcut between distant points. Humans had theorized about such travel but never achieved it. In the Medical Bay, Nari physicians applied patches to the humans' necks. The chemicals will help your bodies adjust to fold space, Ilara explained. The experience can be disorienting for species not evolved for such travel. Lucy lay on a medical bed as the countdown began. Around her, other humans did the same, some praying quietly, others reviewing data pads with scientific curiosity. Grace on the bed beside her reached out her hand. Lucy took it, feeling the tremor in her friend's fingers. 10 seconds to fold. Jump, Vela's voice announced. Prepare for transition. Lucy closed her eyes. The ship hummed, with power building to a pitch that made her teeth vibrate. Then suddenly silence. A sensation of stretching pulled at her body like being drawn through a narrow tube. Her mind filled with impossible colors and shapes that made no sense in three-dimensional space. She tried to scream but had no voice, no body, nothing but consciousness stretched across what felt like infinity, then snapped back. A gasp tore from her throat as normal sensation returned. The Medical Bay rematerialized around, her Grace still clutching her hand, both of them shaking. Status report. Zira's voice came over the communication system. Damage assessment. All sections. Lucy sat up, fighting waves of nausea. The medical patch helped, but her mind still reeled from the experience of fold space. Ilara moved among the humans, checking vital signs. All humans stable. She reported minor stress responses, but within expected parameters. A warning alarm sounded. Vela spoke urgently from the bridge. Anomaly detected, port quadrant. Unknown energy signature approaching. Lucy stumbled to her feet, pulling Grace with her. They needed to reach the bridge to see what was happening. The corridors twisted with strange angles, an after effect of fold space that would fade within minutes. They reached the bridge as Zira was organizing the crew. Sensors detect a vessel following our fold signature. She explained, no Nari ship has ever been tracked through a jump before. The main display showed empty space. Then a ripple appeared. A dark shape emerged from the distortion, its form shifting and changing as if struggling to maintain cohesion in normal space. Void Hunter Vela whispered, her scales paling to almost white. They found us. Lucy stared at the creature. It resembled a ship, but moved, like a living thing. Its surface absorbed light rather than reflected it, making it difficult to judge its size or shape. It seemed to flow through space rather than travel through it. How did it track us? Grace asked, her scientific mind still working. Despite her fear, Zira turned her large eyes to the humans. We do not know. This has never happened. The void between folds should be impossible to navigate. The dark ship accelerated toward them, tendrils of energy reaching out like hungry fingers. The Nari vessel shuddered as defensive shields activated. We cannot outrun it in normal space. Vela reported, our engines need time to recharge for another fold. Jump. Lucy studied the sensor data. Something about the Void Hunter seemed familiar. The way it moved, the energy patterns it emitted. It reminded her of something from Earth. Grace suddenly grabbed her arm. The Void Hunter. It's moving like a predator from Earth. A shark following a blood trail. Our fold jump must leave some kind of trace energy that it can follow. Lucy turned to Zira. Can we mask our energy signature? Create a false trail? The Nari commander considered this. We have never tried. Such a thing would require reconfiguring our engines during flight. Director Kelly joined them on the bridge, the other humans following. We need options, people, she said, her voice steady, despite the danger closing in. One of the NASA scientists suggested, we could release energy probes programmed to emit the same signature as our fold jump create. Multiple false trails. The Void Hunter will follow the strongest signature. Vela argued. Lucy studied the creature on the screen, its behavior becoming clearer. Unless we make them all equally tempting, she said. Like a predator faced with too many identical prey, it won't know which to chase. The Nari and human engineers worked frantically reprogramming the ship's probes, while the Void Hunter drew closer. Within an hour, they had modified 20 probes, each carrying a portion of the ship's energy signature. Ready to deploy, Alara reported. The Void Hunter is 12 minutes from weapons range. Zira gave the order. Launch all probes. Maximum dispersal pattern. Lucy watched as the small devices shot away from the ship, each accelerating in a different direction. The Void Hunter paused its approach as if confused. Then it split its form, dividing into smaller hunters, each pursuing a different probe. It can divide itself, Grace whispered in horror. Lucy felt cold dread. How do you fight something that can become many? The Nari ship accelerated away while the Void Hunters were distracted. We have perhaps 2 hours before they realize the deception, Zira said. Our engines need 4 hours to recharge for another fold. Jump Director. Kelly gathered the human scientists. We need to find a way to either speed up the recharge or delay those things. Any ideas, no matter how crazy? Lucy thought of the old NASA days when impossible problems required creative solutions. What if we don't run? She said. What if we hide instead? Hide. Where Vela asked, there is nowhere to conceal a ship. This size, Lucy pointed to the star map. That system ahead has gas giants with strong magnetic fields. The Void Hunters track energy signatures. If we power down completely and use the magnetic interference to mask our remaining systems, we might become invisible to them. Grace nodded, completing the thought. Like submarines hiding under thermal layers on Earth. The Nari considered this plan risky, Zira said, but possible. Our life support can run on minimal power for 6 hours, enough to recharge for the jump if we remain undetected. The ship altered course, heading for the nearby system. A massive gas giant with swirling storms and powerful magnetic fields offered their best chance. They entered the upper atmosphere, the ship's hull creaking under the pressure. Power down all non-essential systems, Zira ordered. Maintain minimal life support and engine recharge. Only. Darkness fell across the ship, emergency lighting casting everything in dim blue. Glow. Lucy and Grace stood at a viewport watching the storms rage outside. Lightning flashed in clouds larger than Earth. Whole human and Nari crew waited in silence, the temperature dropping as systems powered down. On the sensors they watched as the Void Hunters reunited, then began searching in widening patterns. The creatures passed within thousands of kilometers, but the magnetic storms and power shutdown kept them hidden. Hour by agonizing hour they waited, the engines slowly recharging. Lucy felt hope rising as the hunters moved farther away. Ready for fold jump, Vela finally announced. The Void Hunters have moved beyond sensor range, power returned, systems humming to life. The Nari ship rose from the gas giant's atmosphere, preparing to jump as the countdown began. Lucy watched the stars outside, knowing that somewhere in the void, predators hunted. She understood now why the Nari needed humans. Our species had evolved facing predators, learning to hide, fight, and outwit dangers. Together they might survive what waited between the stars. The fold jump sequence initiated, and once again, reality stretched around them, carrying them deeper into the unknown. After 3 more fold jumps, each followed by tense hiding and evasion, they finally approached their destination. Lucy stood on the bridge beside Grace and Director Kelly as the final jump completed. The ship emerged into a star system with 2 suns, one gold, one pale blue. Their light played across the bridge, casting everything in shifting shadows. Scanners active. Vela announced, no signs of Void Hunters in this system. Planetary assessment underway. On the main display, a world appeared. Growing, larger as they approached, a planet larger than Earth with vast oceans and 3 major continents. Its atmosphere glowed with a soft blue haze. Alara reviewed the data. Perfect oxygen-nitrogen ratio. She reported gravity 1.2 times Earth standard. Temperature ranges compatible with both Nari and human physiology. Plant life abundant. No signs of intelligent species or advanced technology. Zira turned to the human delegation. This is the world we have searched for. A new home for my people and, perhaps a second home for yours as well. Director Kelly studied the planet. Our mission was to help you reach this world safely. We have done that. Will you honor your agreement to share technology and stand as Earth's ally? Of course. Zira replied. You have proven yourselves worthy partners. The knowledge transfer has already begun. Your scientists carry data that will transform Earth technology, and this world is large enough for both our species to establish colonies. If you wish, Lucy looked at the beautiful planet below. A world untouched by civilization waiting for new beginnings. Will your people settle here permanently? She asked. Zira made a gesture of affirmation. Our seed ships carry everything needed to establish a colony. Agricultural, templates, building materials, genetic archives of Nari flora and fauna. Within a decade, a new Nari civilization will thrive here, and the Void Hunters Grace asked. Will they find this world too? Vela approached the viewport, her scales shifting to match the blue-green colors of the planet below. We have traveled far beyond their usual hunting grounds, she said. But they are adaptable. We must prepare defenses. Both our species must be ready if they come. Lucy thought about Earth, so distant now. Vulnerable, despite the new technologies they would soon receive. Would it be enough? As if reading her thoughts, Director Kelly spoke. I will recommend a permanent human presence here. She said, both for scientific cooperation and mutual defense. Some of us should remain while others return to Earth with the knowledge we've gained. Lucy knew immediately she would stay. The quiet life she had built after the NASA tragedy now seemed empty compared to this new frontier. She caught Grace's eye, seeing the same decision in her friend's face. Over the next week, the Nari ship deployed scout vessels mapping the planet and identifying the best locations for settlement. The human delegation divided into teams, some preparing to return to Earth, others planning to stay, and establish the first human outpost on an extrasolar world. Lucy led a team exploring one of the continents. The gravity felt strange, pulling at her muscles as she climbed a rocky hillside. The expedition suit protected her from any unknown biological hazards, though. Nari sensors had confirmed compatibility with human physiology. She reached the hilltop and gazed across a vast valley. The landscape reminded her of Earth, yet everything was slightly different. The plants grew in spiral patterns there, leaves capturing light from both suns. The sky held a deeper blue than Earth, with clouds that formed perfect geometric shapes. Grace joined her on the hilltop. Hard to believe we made it, she said. 2 months ago, we were on Earth, living ordinary lives. Now we stand on another world, light years from home. Lucy nodded. The Nari colony ships would arrive within days, carrying thousands of their kind preserved in stasis during the dangerous journey. The human outpost would begin construction next week, with technology beyond anything available on Earth. A small flying creature swooped past them, its wings iridescent in the dual sunlight. It chirped a musical sound before disappearing into the alien foliage. Lucy smiled at the simple wonder of encountering new life behind them. The landing craft hummed as scientists collected samples and engineers surveyed the ground for the outpost foundation. Director Kelly coordinated with the Nari ship in orbit, finalizing plans for the joint settlement. Earth will never be the same after this, Lucy said quietly. Neither will we, Grace nodded. The knowledge the Nari have shared changes everything: energy systems, medical advances, propulsion technology. But the real change is perspective. Humans will look at the stars differently now, knowing what waits out there. Both wonders and dangers. 2 days later, Lucy stood with the remaining human team, 30 scientists and engineers who had chosen to stay. The others prepared to depart, taking the Nari ship back to Earth with news of their success and samples of alien technology. Zira approached as they said their goodbyes. You have chosen a difficult path. Lucy Morgan, she said. The colony faces many challenges. Lucy watched as the first Nari settlement pods descended from orbit-large structures that would form the core of their new civilization. "We humans are good with challenges," she replied. "It's what makes us valuable partners, isn't it?" Zira made a sound like laughter, her scales rippling with colors, something my people are learning to appreciate. The return vessel departed that evening, rising into the alien sky, carrying half the human delegation back toward Earth. Lucy watched it go, feeling no regret. She belonged here on this new frontier. Human outpost took shape over the following weeks. A cluster of domed buildings connected by covered walkways. Energy systems powered by technology beyond Earth, science, food production laboratories, communications arrays, all built with Nari assistance. The Nari settlement grew more rapidly, their bioengineered structures sprouting and expanding like living things. Soon a small city stood 20 kilometers from the human outpost, the two species establishing regular exchanges of knowledge and resources. One evening, as the blue sun set, leaving only the golden primary in the sky, Lucy climbed her favorite hillside. Grace and Alara accompanied her. The three had formed a friendship that bridged their species, a symbol of the larger cooperation taking shape. Lucy carried a small communication device that maintained contact with Earth. The signal traveled through fold space, taking only days rather than the years light speed would require. Earth governments had received the returning expedition with shock and wonder. The knowledge they brought sparked a new age of development and cooperation between nations. "They are building defense platforms in Earth's orbit," Grace said, reading the latest transmission. "The Void Hunter technology you provided is helping them create early warning systems." Ilara made a gesture of satisfaction. "Both our worlds prepare. The hunters may come in 10 years or 100, but we will be ready." Lucy looked up at the unfamiliar stars of this distant sky. Two species from different worlds now stood together, facing whatever waited in the darkness between stars. She thought of the sphere that had fallen in her garden starting this journey. How strange that such a small object could change the course of two civilizations. The communication device chimed with another message from Earth. Lucy read it, then smiled broadly at her companions. "The first human colony ship has launched," she announced. 1,000 settlers, scientists and engineers. They estimate arrival in 6 months. Grace clapped her hands. This outpost was just the beginning. Alara tilted her head in curiosity. "More humans will come here. Why leave Earth when it is safe?" Lucy thought about this question, finding the answer in her own journey. "Sometimes we need new beginnings," she said. "Humans have always explored, pushed boundaries, sought the unknown. It's part of who we are." As night fell completely, the stars appeared in constellations no human had named before. Lucy wondered what other civilizations might exist among them, waiting to be discovered, allies or enemies or something beyond understanding. She touched the pendant Zira had given her on their arrival, a symbol of her position as human ambassador to the Nari. The stone glowed softly in the darkness, a reminder of how far she had come and how much farther humanity might go. The three friends descended the hillside, returning to their respective settlements. In the valley below, lights glowed from both colonies, two species building new homes under alien stars, separated by biology and culture, yet united by a simple truth. In the vastness of space, no one survived alone.